is Gina, and I'm back with another video. I wanted to share with you some things that I purchased from the local herbal store. This is getting ready to be well, actually it already is. We had Thanksgiving last week. So this is the time of the year when people eat a lot. So I have a tea blend that I use a lot during this time of the year because it helps with digestion and a lot of issues related to the digestive system. So this is a tea that I use all year, but I use it especially around this time of the year because we all like to eat, so do I. So I like to prepare my whole digestive system, my stomach, everything for the season. So let me share with you a couple of those items that I had prepared. But before I go on, I wanted to say thank you for watching this video. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and click that red button below and join the family. If you are a returning supporter, thank you again for being here, and I really do appreciate your support. All right, so the first thing I want to share with you, actually I have quite a few items that I want to share, so I'm not going to drag the video out too long. If there's something specifically that I mentioned that you want to learn more about, just simply post a comment in the comment section below, and I will answer those questions in a separate video. But just I didn't want to break up this video into two separate, or maybe three, so I'll just quickly go through the items, and then if there's a specific thing you want me to talk about, post it in the comments below, and I will create a video specifically with the questions that you ask in the comment below relating to the particular item that you may have asked about. Okay, so I made some incense. This is with lavender, myrrh, rosemary, and rose. This is a time of the year, I guess, when people tend to get, kind of depressed a bit. So I created some very high frequency, high vibrating items, and this incense was one of them. So again, it had lavender, myrrh, rosemary, and rose petals. And I'm not sure if you can see, it's all crushed together, and you can see the pink from the rose petals in there as well. So I didn't make a bunch because you only need a small amount. So let me put that aside. I also made a couple perfumes. This one, and again, these are pure essential oils when I make them. This one has cedarwood, jasmine, patchouli, and amber, and it smells amazing. I think I just stuck that in my nose. Smells amazing. So what I do, I just simply put a dab on my wrist and inhale. Oh, smells amazing. But I tend to experiment with different essential oils to come up with new blends, and this is one of them that I did for this time of the year. And I also made another one, and this again is a high frequency, high vibrating essential oil blend. And this one has rose, frankincense, myrrh, and ylang ylang. Rose and frankincense are two of the highest vibrating essential oils that exist. And it's, oh, I wish you could smell this. But if you have any questions about any of these, again, just simply ask in the comment section below. So I made that perfume. I also made a spray. So if I didn't want to put on the perfume, I could actually just spritz myself. And this one has frankincense, rose, it has rose water and rose absolute, and there's also a rose quartz chip as well as a clear quartz chip inside for even higher vibrating frequency. So I made that. It does have a little spray bottle at the top, and this is glass. I make all of my sprays in glass bottles. I can never have enough tourmaline or black tourmaline, so I picked up a few nice big chunks of black tourmaline, and I use these for quite a few things. Black tourmaline is a protective stone, so I have actually black tourmaline in all the four corners of my home, and sometimes when I do different grids, like protection grids, I also use black tourmaline, black obsidian, those type of stones. All black stones tend to be protective stones. So I picked up 2 nice big chunks of black tourmaline. I also picked up some propolis. Propolis is absolutely good for you. If you're not familiar with propolis, it's actually from bees. Bees make it. It's, for lack of a better way to put this, it's kind of a combination of honey and bee spit, but it is and kind of like the scrapings off the bottom of the beehive. But this is so good for you. So I take it in capsules, but I decided to get some just some free powdered stuff so I can mix it in with other things. But this is bee propolis. I'm going to be making some beeswax candles. So I picked up quite a few sheets of the natural color beeswax, as well as these are the wicks that I will use to roll when I roll up my candles. And I'm pretty sure that I did a video already, and I will post that in the comment section below, or I will link it in this video so you can see how I make those candles. Alright, so this is one tea that I like to have around this time of the year. This is called my Digestive Bitters, but I found that whenever I make it, it's really not bitter. This contains dandelion root, burdock root, orange peel, angelica root, ginger, fennel, cardamom, coriander, and caraway seeds. And like I said, I think it's because of the cardamom and maybe the coriander and the fennel as well. It gives it kind of a sweet bit on the sweet side. It's not sweet, but it definitely takes away from the bitterness of maybe the burdock root or the dandelion root that's in here. So I don't use any kind of sweetener whenever I drink this. And you can see, this is what, let me see if I can open it and show you. So you can see what it looks like. A lot of them are roots. And it tastes quite good, but it is specifically, they call it bitters, which you know is for digestion. So I always have that, and I ran out, so I went and had a whole jar made because we're going to use that. Alright, I'm going to need that during this season where we eat a lot. These are Juniper Berries, and there is a little project that I'm going to be doing using the Juniper Berries. There's actually, I just got an ornament for my granddaughter. We're going to be making an ornament specifically for her, and these will actually come in really handy for that as well. So, that just popped into my head. I'm sorry. So, okay, these are Juniper Berries. Let me share with you a couple other things from this bag. I also picked up some elderberries, and I make elderberry syrup this time of the year. I usually put these into glass containers once I go through the video. I'll store them in glass containers, but the plastic is what they call the non-BPA. So these are elderberries, and I use this to make elderberry syrup, which is really good for preventing cold and flu. I have not had a flu shot in over 10 years. I used to get it, and it always made me ill, and then I found out about elderberries. So I take this all year, but I always make sure I have this on hand, or have extra on hand during the winter season, because that's usually the time, you know, when everybody gets a cold or gets the flu. And oddly enough, when I went to purchase this, the herbalist there told me that she purchased pounds of it because last year it was hard to find because everybody wanted elderberries, and this year is just as bad. It's really hard to find. So if you do use elderberries, you want to make sure you stock up because there is a shortage. This is a tea that I make several times of the year. I don't use it a lot, but when I do use it, I find it's very effective, and I tell you what it is. I call this my psychic tea. Um, and you could also call it your third eye tea, whatever the case is. But all of the herbs that are in here are designed to enhance your intuition. And if you are into metaphysics, that sort of thing, you'll understand what I'm talking about. The herbs that I use in here are peppermint, spearmint, mugwort, gotu kola, nutmeg, anise seed, or anise star seed. They're little star-shaped herbs. Celery seeds, cinnamon, and there's also ginger and rose hips, and there's a little bit of cardamom in here as well. But I call this my psychic tea, and I'll go ahead and open it, see if you can see what it looks like. All of my teas are really pretty, and I wish that we had, I'm hoping that the color comes across. That was a big chunk of mugwort that you just saw. So if you have any questions about any of these, feel free, and I will I could do separate videos on each of these if you'd like. One of the items that I forgot to mention that was in my psychic tea was valerian root, and it's not the most pleasant smelling root, but it is definitely one of the more effective herbs that you can use if you are trying to enhance your intuition. All right, let me share with you a couple other things. If you're trying to do dream recall or really want to have very vivid dreams, one of the best herbs for that is mugwort, and I mentioned it was one of the ingredients in my psychic tea. But you can also just make a tea. Let me show you what it looks like here. You can also just make a tea using just the mugwort, but I like to have a blend of different things. And the psychic tea that I made actually has a very good flavor to it. Mugwort, most people say is very bitter, but for me, I find that it's not, and I can actually just drink mugwort, a cup of mugwort tea, without any kind of sweetener. I find that it's not bitter for me, and maybe that's because I do drink the bitters tea that I shared with you. But some of you might find that it's bitter, so if that's the case, then just add a little bit of honey to it, or whatever your preferred sweetener is, and that will kind of take away the edge from the bitterness. So this is mugwort, and a lot of people, you can also smoke mugwort, and if you're going to do that, you might want to add another item, and one of the items that's good to add with that is Damiana, the Damiana herb. So I picked up some of those. I also picked up, this is one thing I always like to have on hand. This is, these are dehydrated vegetables, and they're carrots, onions, celery, peas. Let's see if I can open it and show you a better view in there. See, without dumping it all over. So it's dehydrated vegetables, and it's filled with all kinds of herbs like oregano, basil, thyme. That's all the herbs right there. So you should take this and empty it into another container. And I add this to soups. I also add it to, if I'm cooking rice, I take maybe a tablespoon or a very generous tablespoon of this and drop it in with every cup of rice that I'm cooking. And it just makes for a very beautiful, flavorful rice. And it's different from the plain white rice, So I always keep dehydrated vegetables on hand. So I picked up some of those. I mentioned valerian root in the powder form. I picked some up in just the root form, not crushed, not blended to powder. So this is the valerian root again. My son absolutely loves these. This is ginger candy covered with dark chocolate, or candied ginger underneath that's been covered in dark chocolate. So I picked up some of that for him. And this is another, let me tell you what this one is for. This is for a focus oil that I made for my son, Memory and Focus. And it's got grapefruit. It's all pure essential oils. So I had to shake it up just a little bit. And it's made with grapefruit, lavender, rosemary, frankincense, helichrysum, and peppermint. And what we do is we put it into like a little oil burner, and the scent just kind of floats in the air, and it helps him, whatever he's working on, it kind of helps him to remember the stuff after, for a long time afterwards. And it also helps him to concentrate. So the oils that are in here help with focus as well as memory. The grapefruit and frankincense, helichrysum, those all help with focus as well as peppermint. And then the rosemary, we know, is an herb of remembrance, so that helps with memory. Oh, what did I say? I think I messed up there. Anyway, okay, grapefruit, let me fix that. Grapefruit, frankincense, helichrysum, and peppermint all help with concentration. I'm hoping that's what I said before. Helps with concentration. And the rosemary, we know that is an herb of remembrance. Okay, so if you have any questions about these, again, feel free to comment below. I'm trying not to rush, but I don't want to drag the video out too long, and I didn't want to break it up. So that's that was specifically for my son. I also picked up some Dandy Blend, and this is a substitute for coffee. It's called Dandy Blend and has chicory root as well as dandelion root in there, and it's this is the herbal version of coffee. So, and you just fix it the same way that you do coffee. A teaspoon of this in your hot water. You can add your milk, whatever the case is. But it's called Dandy Blend. It's basically dandelion root with chicory root, and it looks just like ground up coffee. There it is. So I'll put this into a glass mason jar as well. Let's see what else we have here. Picked up a bunch of thyme. The herb thyme. The place where I go to has a huge oregano bush outside, so I usually just cut fresh oregano as well as rosemary. I tried to bring my rosemary from the other home where I moved, but once rosemary is planted, you never want to dig it up. So it wasn't quite successful. I picked up some Nous, Nous, and this is a combination of gotu kola, white peony, licorice root, as well as ginkgo biloba, and it was basically for me and for it's a mind, and when I say mind enhancing, but keep your brain from deteriorating, for lack of a better way of putting it. So it's called Nous, and again that has gotu kola, white peony, licorice root, as well as ginkgo biloba. So you're probably familiar with some of those, and I take those in a capsule form. And the last item, and this was, I just happened to be walking around in the store, and I happened upon this, and this was something I've been thinking about for a while. I said I love dragons, and I've been looking for a Jade Dragon, and I just happened to see one. Let me see if I can get this opened without it flying and getting broken. Alright, so I have a couple of other tea blends I want to share with you. This one is kind of like hot chocolate, but it's a step up from hot chocolate. This is my Yerba Mate hot chocolate blend, and it's got Yerba Mate, peppermint, cacao nibs, carob, cacao powder, and vanilla. And I don't know if you can see there's a vanilla bean in there. What I did was I just sliced the vanilla bean open and just tuck it in, and then once you shake it up and it's sealed, it infuses that vanilla scent into whatever it is that you have in the jar. So this is my hot chocolate, my herbal hot chocolate blend. Let me see if I can show you a little bit better. So I always make this. I use it all year pretty much, but we use it a lot this time of the year. My son absolutely loves this. He when I made it the last time, we had a lot more peppermint in there, so we got that really minty chocolatey flavor, but he doesn't like a lot of the peppermint, so we made less peppermint flavor in here, which he prefers. There's still a hint of the peppermint, but not as much as it was before. So this is like I said, it has yerba mate, peppermint, cacao nibs, carob, cacao powder, and vanilla, the vanilla bean. All right. I also picked up a bunch of sage leaves. I like to burn the sage leaves individually, and I actually purchased these a few weeks ago. I smudge every day, sometimes twice a day, and this bag was pretty full, so I'm running out. But I do have smudge sticks as well that I also use. I picked up, and a lot of you might be familiar with this. This is Florida water, and I use that in baths. Just put a little bit of that into your, if you do like Epsom salt baths, just pour a little bit into your bath whenever you're soaking. All right, so I have a couple other tea blends I want to share with you. This one is, I call this my fairy tale tea, and I won't share with you the ingredients because they're kind of a secret, but if you're really interested, I might let you know what's in here. But this is like a tea that I would drink in the evenings when I'm just kind of relaxing. It's really pretty. All the teas I just love using, you know, I don't like to get the powder because I love to be able to see. I'm sure you can probably see some of the ingredients. One of them is lavender. I'm sure you can see that. And there is calendula in here. You can probably see that. But if you want to learn more, I will definitely do a video on this one. My secret, my fairy tale tea. Alright, I just have a couple more things to share with you. My last tea blend, I do believe. Yes. This is what I call my winter wellness tea. Now, the ingredients in here are in a few others, but this is one that I made specifically for when it gets really cold, and we know that there's a flu going around, and we're around people who constantly have snotty noses and that sort of thing. This one has eleuthero, which is Siberian ginseng, ginger, elderberry, cinnamon, rose hips, and the majority of these items in here are filled with vitamin C. Let me show you. Let's see if you can see it through the glass right there. And let me go ahead and open it. But this is what I call my winter wellness tea. And you can see all of the elderberries and the rose hips in there. So this is one that I specifically use this time of the year. But like I said, I use it, I try to have it all year as well. But most of the time is during the winter when I really use this quite a bit. All right, last few items. Mrs. Mango makes a lot of soaps. So I picked up this African black soap, and I also picked up this ginger soap, and the ginger soap would be great as an anti-inflammatory. So if you have any kind of anti-inflammatory issues, you know, I was diagnosed with lupus, but going on 6 years now, I believe 6 years ago, and as well as a host of other things. And like when I told you that this store saved my life, and that's for a whole other video. But there are a lot of anti-inflammatory herbs that I use in different forms, and the ginger soap is very good as an anti-inflammatory. So you can just simply massage your body with that, leave it on for a few minutes, take your shower. But like I said, if you have any questions, post them below, and I will do individual videos because I don't want to drag this out too long, and it's already pretty long. In addition to sage, one of the things I like to use for smudging are Palo Santo sticks, and I probably mentioned them before. These are Palo Santo sticks. Palo Santo means holy wood, and the aroma from this is so incredible. Oh. So Palo Santo, and what I'm going to do is actually create little gifts with them using selenite wands and the Palo Santo stick, and just kind of wrap it with a pretty ribbon, and those would make incredible gifts. So I picked up 4 pieces of the Palo Santo, and I also picked up 4 of the selenite ones, which I think are in use in a grid right now, so I won't disturb them. I also picked up, I think I shared with you, or I will share with you the Dragon's Blood oil. I think I shared that with you already, but I also picked up some Dragon's Blood incense. So when I'm not using the oil, I can also use the incense. These are incense cones. The last item that I do want to share with you, actually not the last one, but this is one that you'll probably have a lot of questions about if you have any kind of anti-inflammatory illness. This is one that I like to use to massage on my joints. This is CBD oil. Now, right now it is really cold, and the base of this is coconut oil. So you can see it's kind of white, which means it's pretty much hard. So to soften this up, I would simply just get a bowl of warm water and set this in. But this is CBD oil in a base of the coconut oil, and I just simply use this and I massage my joints. So that is that one. Okay, so this other blend can double as an incense as well as a tea. I initially made it as an incense, but when I spoke to the herbalist, she said yes, you can drink it. Now, a couple of the herbs in here, there's rosemary, sage, mugwort, elderberry, cinquefoil, and mullein. Mullein is very good for the lungs. Cinquefoil we know is a money herb, or if you didn't know that, that's what it's for. Cinquefoil is a money herb. The word cinque actually means 5, and 5 is the number for money manifestation. Elderberry is very good for, like I said before, good for preventing colds and flu. And the mugwort is a dream herb, or helps to remember your dreams. Sage we know is a protective herb. You use that for smudging, but you can also use it in cooking. And rosemary is the herb of remembrance. So this can be used as a tea, and but initially I made it as an incense. I also made some more perfumes. I'm always experimenting with different essential oils to see what's come up with different blends, whether they be for maybe raising vibration or for helping to breathe properly. I have lots of different different blends. Now this one has show you what it looks like. They would all have different colors. Excuse me. Because a lot of the herbs, a lot of the essential oils do have certain colors to them. Some don't have any colors at all, and that's fine. This one really doesn't have a color, but this one has sage, it has eucalyptus, rosemary, and sandalwood. So this you could also use to help to remember, but it also helps with breathing. The eucalyptus in there would definitely open your nostrils. And smells amazing. So this is one that I would use in, maybe if I'm doing some kind of a ritual, I would use this particular perfume. Or if I'm I'm sitting there studying or something and I just kind of want to really enhance my memory, as well as keep this time of the year it gets kind of hard to breathe, especially when it gets cold. So this is one that I will also use during that time. Each particular essential oil has so many different uses, though, that you could use this for so many different things. So that is one that I made. And speaking of color, you can see the color in this. This particular one has allspice, patchouli, and peppercorn. And this is a meditation as well as manifesting. And this is not one that you would want to use all the time, because definitely has a very spicy aroma to it. So this is more going to be used for ritual, and you could also use this on drop few drops of it onto a charcoal disc and use as incense as well. But this is definitely kind of enhancing your sacred space. That's what I would use this for. And I also picked up a couple more essential oils. Let me share those with you. This is just pure sage essential oil. So sometimes if I'm doing my spiritual bath, I could just put a couple drops of this in with my bath salt blend that I would make, rather than putting in the sage leaves. I would just put a couple drops of this pure sage essential oil, and if I don't have any sage leaves to burn, I could also put a couple drops of this onto a charcoal disc, and I would smudge in that manner. I also use the sage in my my smudge spray. This, in addition to Palo Santo and a few other essential oils, are what I would use in my smudge spray. I also picked up some sandalwood essential oil and some dragon's blood, and you can see how the color of is the same. The jar is the same color, but the dragon's blood is actually the color, that deep, rich color in there. So I picked up some of those oils. Now, this is one tea that I use all year. It's a detox blend. So sometimes if I'm doing a fasting of any kind, I would use this detox blend. And this has nettle or stinging nettle, you might know it as that, red clover, cinnamon, dandelion root, which is also in another blend. And I also have dandelion leaves in here, as well as orange peel. There's ginger, fennel leaves, and burdock root. So there are a couple things in this blend that are not in the other one, and this one is specifically if I'm doing detox. And let me see if I can show you what that one looks like. So if you want to know more about that as well, I will gladly do a video on just that one. Now my son, he saw this little box. This is a collectible, and he got this for free. It's a Coca-Cola tin, but inside the box was a package of playing cards, Coca-Cola playing cards. And I believe these were from, I'm not sure what year it said. I'll tell you in a minute. I think it was 1984. Looks like 1984. But it comes with the original pack as well as the tin. And he just happened to see it, liked it, and took it up. And Annika at the Herbal place just gave it to him. Said, you can have it. Just don't open the package of cards, because then, of course, the value goes down immediately. So that was a freebie. Okay, so I found a Jade Dragon. Let me show you. It's about 5 inches in. And that was the steal of the day. I think I got this for maybe $10. I wish, oh, the color is definitely not coming across. It looks very pale on screen, but it's a nice, not deep green. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Let's see if I can turn it. I absolutely love dragons, and I'd actually just was thinking about one just a few days before, and I went in, saw this one, and I know that she did not sell it to me for the price that it's worth. But since I'm a frequent shopper at that herbal store, and I have to tell you how I found that place, or how it found me, because I do credit the local place called Mrs. Mangoes with saving my life. I really do. And maybe that's a story you'd like to hear. Let me know. If not, then I won't. But if you're interested in learning more about my connection to this store called Mrs. Mango's, this is where I go to get all of my herbs and all, you know, a lot of my crystals for my work. So if you want to hear that story of how we actually connected, I mean, they really did. That place really did save my life. 5 years ago, I collapsed in the store, and I'm still here today. So that's all I'm going to say. If you want to hear the story, or hear more of the story, let me know below, and I will do a video on that. Okay. All right. The last thing, I know I mentioned that the Jade Dragon was the last thing, but I do use, because I make my own incense a lot of the times, I do use the these are charcoal discs that I burn it on, and these are called Swift Light, and they apparently are supposed to be the best. There was a kind I've used before, but they switched out, and in comparison, these are supposed to be much better. So if you're looking for charcoal disc, you might want to check out Swift Light. Just do a search online. All right, so that is everything. No, it's not. How could I forget? I picked up 2 more crystals. These are sapphire in the raw. You know that sapphire is blue, but these are just raw pieces. I picked up 2 pieces of them because I happen to like the raw crystals. Some of them look really pretty when they're tumbled. Like Mookaite Jasper is pretty in the raw, but it's absolutely stunning when it is tumbled. So I picked up 2 pieces of the sapphire, and that is it. Now, if you want to learn more about crystals, there is a book that is very helpful, and this is not from the herbal store, but I did buy it from Books A Million. You can also get it from Amazon, and I can post a link for that below. This is called the Crystal Bible. Everything you want to know about any crystal, it is in here. So this is by Judy Hall, and this is, they call it the Crystal Bible, yes, but anyone who makes any reference to crystals, you want to know about a crystal, you want to get a book by Judy Hall, because she is extremely knowledgeable in this. And this is the one book that if you work with crystals, if you're a crystal Reiki practitioner, if you're a healer, you use crystals, or if you're just interested in crystals, the Crystal Bible is the one for you to have. All right, so, well, that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions relating to any of these items, please feel free to just make a comment in the comment box below, or post your question, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. We know that the holidays are right around the corner, so people get busier than usual this time of the year. But if you are curious about anything, just let me know, and I will try to do a video on that at my earliest convenience. All right, so I will see you again real soon in another video. Thank you again for watching, and for supporting like you usually do. I will get across to so many of you guys. I know I've been trying to catch up with all of my watching for you guys who are my dear supporters, and I really do appreciate you all being here. So thank you again for being here, and if I don't see you before, which I'm probably sure I will before the Christmas gets here, have a wonderful Christmas, have a happy Hanukkah. I'm sure I'll see you before Kwanzaa, but we know all of those are coming up. Have a great time in whatever holiday it is that you celebrate.